Have you ever wondered what are they doing? This is called virtual labs. So what is virtual labs anyway? In most general terms, virtual laboratories is a computer-based activity where students interact with experimental apparatus or other activity, and this will be through computer. So how many virtual labs are there? We always hear about this term. So if we call it in systematic way, we can say that virtual labs are divided in PC applications and also phone applications. So each of them have its own categories, and we can start with something like online virtual labs, which is non-VR, and we can call it as a graphical one. Online applications. So the graphical ones are, there is so many examples actually, which is online. One of them is Utah University website. It have biology virtual labs, and it's based on DNA extraction and gel electrophrases and all this stuff, also microarray. So if we take a look on it, it's actually based on Java. It's like steps and it's very easy to use, and you can learn through it very well. Like this one, it's actually based on DNA extraction procedures, and you can go through the steps one by one, and each steps is it will teach you what is going on in these steps in exact. So this was one example, and the other side, if we call the numerical non-VR online, something like simulated evolution. This one, why we call it numerical, because actually you can redesign the equations again, because it's open source and is not based mainly on graphical. Like you can change the equation, so the visualization of the data will be changed also, but there is no prediction here at all. It's just all based on visualizations. On the other side, the VR online VLabs, maybe the most famous one is called Labster. Labster is a very interesting website and is very useful for education purposes. Teacher also using it around the world. You can use many labs, virtual labs here. You can use it online, graphical, or even VR, virtual reality. So on the other side, actually, I couldn't find any examples for the VR which can be downloaded to your PC for ready labs. However, the non-VR, the graphical and numerical that can be downloaded, graphical is this lab is called chemistry lab, and you can download it to your PC and you can play with it. Very interesting. It's all based not very much sophisticated as a graphical interface, but it's very interesting, especially for high school students and middle school students who are just starting to learn chemistry about chemistry. It's very interesting actually. You can just try it, and most of these links actually I will add it to my to the description of the video. You can download it. The numerical that can be downloaded to your PC. VLabs, it's actually one of them is being published. It's about also evolution, and it has been made on Excel file that you can follow up the genomics and genetics of the plant biology. It's also very interesting. On the other side, the constructible virtual labs, that how can you construct your own virtual lab. In this case, I can tell you this can be described in another video, because this is a bit big part. Phone application on the other side. I collected some of the applications, apps that can be used for this purpose, and these all are really interesting labs, especially the Picker lab and VR lab. VR lab, actually you can turn it into virtual reality labs, and PCR labs also are very interesting to be used for calculations and the basic calculations of PCR and many lab requirements. So what is the difference between virtual labs and dry labs? Virtual labs is also called as simulations. Dry lab is called as prediction labs. So let's just distinguish between them. The virtual labs are mainly made for education purpose and data visualizations. This is the main purpose of this kind of labs. It's very useful for that sector. However, on the other side, the dry labs are made to facilitate ongoing research, which it can make some predictions. The most famous of the prediction labs is the AlphaFold 2 for protein prediction, protein structure prediction. It has been released this year. It's based on AI. And you can consider that most of the prediction labs are focused on computational system biology. You can find like metabolic engineering prediction laboratories. It's called dry labs also. You can design your pathways. You can predict your protein structures. All this stuff, it's mainly focused under the major name titled by system biology. So now the question is, how can I search or how can I Google for virtual labs? It's easy. Actually, keywords is just a virtual lab plus the measures that you are specific measures that you want, like biology, chemistry, physics, or whatever. Or you can be more specific, like for kind of like specific machines that you want to find the virtual lab for it, like flow cytometry, HPLC. So you can just write the virtual lab, HPLC, virtual lab, flow cytometry, virtual lab biology, virtual lab chemistry, thermodynamics, like this way, and you can find very interesting result. In the next video, inshallah, I will try to show you how you can construct your 3D virtual labs based on VR or even just graphical interface. That will be also interesting. I will use the Unreal Engine, Twinmotion, and also we can show something by Visual Basic. As my first virtual lab, actually I designed it in 2009. It was made by Visual Basic at that time, and this 3D game engine is called 3D State. I will show you also the way how to use it. It's like a game. You're designing your game, but the resources, the supply chain of the graphical of the graphical models, ready graphical models, you can download it from some website. You can just use it directly and decode it, and you can make your own virtual lab. Okay guys, see you.